on board with Team Galati for our very first episode, American Made with Cruisers Yachts. I'm your host, Maria Galati Hill, and I am joined today by two well-known men in the industry representing one of the last American boat builders, Cruisers Yachts. Would you mind introducing yourself, starting with Mark?
Sure. Mark Pedersen. I'm the President of Cruisers Yachts, and I've been in the boat business at Cruisers for going on 30 plus years right now. And I've also spent a few years working directly for our owner, Casey Stock, doing some sales and buying and acquisitions for Casey. So pleasure to be with you today.
Yeah, my name is Dan Zenz, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing. I've been with Cruisers Yachts now for 17 years. Prior to that, for 11 years, I was selling Cruisers Yachts at the retail level. So been with the company now 28 years and enjoying every minute of it.
Everyone, my name is Joseph Galati with the Galati Yachts Hills, and I'm the Cruisers Brand Manager for the company. And I've been working closely with Cruisers and their team, and been really excited for the opportunity to recently took on this role. And we've had such a great relationship with them for such a long time. So it was an honor to work with them and represent them within our own company.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We are excited to dive deep into some of the aspects that makes Cruisers Yachts so unique. We've been a dealer with you guys for 37 years. And of all the brands that we sell, you are our oldest relationship, and that says something. And we're celebrating our 50th anniversary this year, and we are so honored to work with such a great company. So thank you for taking the time to sit down with us. On that note, let's dive in. So, as we all know, you are very well known for the Cantius line, but you recently entered the outboard market just last year. So that's a huge leap for manufacturers to do, and it's proven to be such a success. So can you tell us a little bit more about how that's going?
Yeah, I think maybe I'll start, Danny, from a high end side. It's a leap, but we do have a 100-year heritage being in the boat business, and through those years we have third generation boat builders and so I think when you talk about the propulsion systems being outboards, that's one thing. But I think we've had people that dealt with outboards over the years, and I don't know if people know, but we're about 60 miles away from Mercury Marine, so we have a great relationship with them, and interfaced with them when we brought this product forward. I think also the key to the product line is success. This isn't the propulsion system. I think, as you say, the Cantius series was leading edge, was innovative. We went forward, and we can talk about that a little bit later on. That's the cornerstone for the company. But I think the GLS series, I guess for lack of a better term, is a crossover yacht. And just like the Cantius series, was about entertaining and putting everything on one level from the back cockpit to the salon. I think the GLS or the crossover yacht series is all about entertaining. It takes the swim platform, it takes the fold-out swing door, and it integrates that all in with a cockpit area with just a ton of area to entertain and tons of seating. And walking forward, you're allowed to go forward to the bow seating area, which I think is second to none when we talk about the amount of space that we do up there in that. So we've always been a company that utilizes space. It's probably one of our superior aspects of what we can do. And then probably more importantly, it's a deep bucket. So, from a safety standpoint of your family. But what makes it the crossover yacht is I think by allowing overnight accommodations that don't normally see with this size boat. So it's back to our ability to, in our engineering department, to utilize every inch of space. And I think when you take that heritage and you apply that to this boat, and you go down below and you see what we've done with sleeping arrangements, the head, the galley amenities, I think what we've achieved there is of yacht status in that size boat. And I don't think we're rivaled by our competitors in our class, second to none with that. And I think, Danny, you can expand upon that, but I think that's the key to really what's allowed us to be successful with that boat.
Yeah, I mean, jumping into the outboards was, the 338 was first when we converted that to outboards, then followed it up with the 38. And it just opened us up to completely different markets, the saltwater markets and things like that, the stern drives are selling in those markets, but the outboards are kind of dominating it. So it's a market we jumped into and having really good success with them.
Yeah. You'll see that like the 38 GLS is the perfect example of a lot of people that coming out of center consoles and smaller bay boats, getting into more offshore cruising and maybe a long weekend, or even starting to get into some overnight boating. And we'll really start to see a lot of those boaters use that as a good stepping stone to get into the Cantius line and get into those, week-long trips down to the Keys, the Bahamas, things like that. And it's a really good middle point, like I said, a stepping stone to gain your experience in boating. You're comfortable with the outboards because that's probably something you had on your previous boat. It's got a lot of the features that's not going to limit and eliminate what your other boat can do. It's just going to add to what you can do. It can ride up along on the beach. You can anchor out anywhere, and it's got a huge freeboard on it that you can easily take offshore and take on a long excursion. So it's a bay boat. It's an offshore boat. It's really all of the best of both worlds.
I think, Joseph, I mean, that's the
And we've seen,
we are we're on the Great Lakes. You've been up here, and those are some rough bodies of water. And I think when you look at that boat, and I think I've heard it from a number of people, and Danny, you can expand, is and we're also known for our performance, whether it's in the Cantius series, but I think when the 33, Danny, and the 30 came out, I mean, the solidness of that boat, the freeboard, everything you're talking about, this boat, performs like a sports car with the handling and so forth. And I think that's been another great attribute of the 38 GLS.
Yeah, I've taken a few customers out on sea trial on it, and that's one of the big selling points is that freeboard. We have it right now sitting next to our 42 Cantius, and they're almost equal heights. I mean, it's maybe 6 inches lower, and it really can show them that this boat has a freeboard in the hull of an offshore vessel. And but then I take them out on it, and it's doing S turns, it's carving. I mean, it's a fun boat, and it puts a smile on everybody's face. So it's a really unique boat and a good starting point and entry point into the outboard market, and to add on to the 338 you guys already had.
Awesome. Moving on to talk a little bit about the Cantius line, because that is what you're known for. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the 60 Cantius, the flagship of your fleet, is the most popular.
Yeah, I think if you talk about where we went, and without we'll get into some stuff a little bit later on, but I think the Cantius series. I think when we came out of the 2008 downturn, we have an owner that invests back into the business, and I think especially here in the last 5 years, Dan, I think we've come up with 12 models in 5 years. So, to plow that money back in there. But, I think when we talk about our design, one of our pluses is our timeless design. I think when you look at the Cantius, though, we still remain innovative when we go to market. And I know, Danny, when we came out with this, it was a big step to go with the patio door in this Cantius series. And I think with that, what sets it apart is, once again, it's one level of entertaining. You take that back cockpit area, a patio door, a drop down window, and it opens right up into the salon. So, and the galley is up. So it's not so much for, having dishes and everything up there, but it's where you have all your amenities to entertain and be part of it. Instead of being down below, you can come up and prepare food and do everything else and be part of the party. So then you go in that salon, and I think we really, did a 360 viewing with just tremendous amount of glass around that whole boat, and just opened it up with natural light. And, I think it was innovative, and we kept that openness, and we went with the atrium, which is really opening up. You just don't have the stairs to go below deck. We opened all that up, which brought light to the lower level. So when you go down below, we continue that openness. And, just with the, we went outside with some other designing work to challenge us. And I think when you see the windows, the giant windows on that, so when you go down into the staterooms, it just opens up those lower staterooms with natural sunlight, and opening portholes with breezes down there, that you're not down in a cubby hole. You're into a nice area that you'd like to go down and relax and type of deal. So
can you give us any hints or, any inside scoop as to what's coming next to your product line?
I like to talk about all that stuff, but Danny will have to do that, because he makes sure I stay in line coming out. So.
Well, there might be a bigger version of a 42 coming, and there could possibly be a smaller version of the 38 coming. So
I like it either or.
Yeah, and you have to be you'll have to stay tuned for what's coming after that. So
absolutely, we're excited.
Yeah, give us a couple months and we'll have some running shots that we can share with you. You'll have to have us back, and we'll.
I always get excited for those.
Yeah, we'll do a walkthrough on it.
I told you he's going to be guarded. See, so that's why I'm excited about what he's doing. So
that's what we need to suspense build up.
Yeah, I guess a quick story just to explain to all the viewers. The process behind developing a new model is very unique, and it's a pretty exciting and a fun process. They obviously have their engineering team drawing on AutoCAD and drawing all the diagrams of all these boats and styling them. But what they'll do is build a replica out of plywood and foam, a full scale, to be able to walk the boat. And when the 38 GLS was coming out, I was actually at the factory and got to stand on that full scale display there, and you can really start to feel the size of the boat, the headroom, the layout, and things like that. And it's a really unique process that they do to really be able to put yourself inside the boat and edit things and change things and get a good feel for it before you move on to the hole number one. So it's a really unique process.
Absolutely. That's awesome. You visited the factory, Joseph, many times as brand manager. Can you tell us a little bit more about that experience while we're on the topic?
Yeah, it's in Oconto, Wisconsin. It's a neat little town just north of Green Bay. And last time I was up there, it's a really, really cool area. And we were staying in Sturgeon Bay, which is absolutely gorgeous. If you ever go up there, recommend going in the summer. It's the best weather of all time. All the vegetation is out. It's perfectly green, like the greenest grass I've ever seen, and nice fresh air and everything. And the water is beautiful and nice and the perfect temperature. And but the factory is beautiful. They got a really nice facility there. They are very vertically integrated, so a lot of the processes are right there in the facility. So I always our customers that are buying some of the larger Cantius models always recommend to go up there and see the boat being built, get a tour of the factory, and see the culture that they have there. The infrastructure is just absolutely incredible. There's nothing like the people that work there, and they're one of their biggest assets by far.
That kind of community is rare and it's precious. So the fact that Cruisers Yachts has achieved that is pretty amazing. So we're going to take it back for a moment for all the history buffs out there. Can we take it back to the beginning of Cruisers Yachts and tell us a little, a quick version of the history, because it's really, truly a great story.
Yeah. Quick story, because it does go back, and I'll give you the quick highlights of it. And I think there's a lot of DNA that goes out to a number of boat companies within the U.S. So the Thompson brothers go all the way back to 1904. So that's our 100-year boat building heritage. And in 1950, I think the second generation took over, and still the Thompsons were involved in that business. And I think in 56, it turned into, they started using Cruisers as the name of the brand. And I think they were going in, at that time they were wood boats, they were going into the big cabin cruisers. And then I think they, through that period of time, it was still Thompson's. And then Mira Corporation bought it out in the 70s, and still Roy Thompson was still running that. So in 1979, Roy Thompson retired, and Terry Bogart, a local businessman, and Tom Lyle purchased the business and ran it from 1980 through 93. And thus, then we're up to the point in time where Casey Stock bought the business. And Casey bought that back in March of 93. And I think he saw the opportunity. And if I go back and before I explain what Casey's done here he bought it in 93, so we're at 27 years right now that he's owned this business. But to go back and really understand the heritage is Casey was self-made. He made his money in the wholesale lumber business. He took over for his father, bought out his father's business, and Conto, Wisconsin. So he was born and raised here, and he basically expanded that to I think almost 8 yards throughout Wisconsin. And he expanded into Minnesota, into northern Illinois, and he had 4 boys that were in the business with him. So when the opportunity came up to buy Cruisers, I think you can see, young man here to come back to his community and make good with something he can do for them. So he purchased the business, and And I think when Casey bought the business, it was to give back to the community. And he did that by not just giving back to the employees, but to the community as a whole. And I think probably the biggest thing he's proud of is, he has a charitable foundation and he gives back to the community from, marina development to youth sports to youth activities, education. And he was a major donor that they were able to build their own hospital in the area. So I think, I went with that first because that's what he's probably most proud of, is he came back to this community. But obviously, Cruisers Yachts was a cornerstone of this community, and his ability to invest back into the employees, to invest back into the facilities. So he did major expansions to allow us to go bigger with our product line and equipment, but probably most importantly, to invest back into, the product line. And, after 27 years, I've got to say, or 100 years of heritage, this is the strongest we've ever been. And through his investment back into that, and our dealers, in the interface, the big input the dealers have given us, and the customers, and in the case of willingness to plow back into the product line and our engineering department has made us, I think right now we're number one U.S. manufacturer, in our class. And that's a big shout out to him, to our employees, and to our dealers and customers, and we're proud of that. And I think he's done a good job that Cruisers Yachts will remain a cornerstone for a long time to come. And all four sons are successful businessmen, and come to our dealer meetings, and are avid boaters. And I would think from Southwest Florida, I think you might see Casey or one of his sons out boating in Southwest Florida. They got a 60 fly down there, and they're probably the biggest private developer in Southwest Florida, from homes and real estate. So, and give back to those communities. So, a great story of what a self-made individual did to, let us be, worldwide known, and to give you dealers the product that we're able to give you and sell to the retail customers. I mean, it sounds corny, but I really believe 37 years with you guys, as the president of the company, I'm on the phone with retail customers, talking about their boats and their experience. So it truly is a family. So we appreciate everything everyone's done.
You said it. It's truly loyalty that's built up from 1904. I mean, to say that you have 100 years of boat building heritage is something that nobody else can say. And that says so much for the buyer. And, the loyalty that your employees have for your company and that your dealers have for your company, it trickles down to the loyalty that even our cruiser owners that are Galati and Cruiser customers have for your brand. So I think that's why our 37-year relationship sticks so well, because we have that same ethical group and teamwork and effort that really builds up the company for everyone involved.
Yeah. And then Dan, I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on, obviously the title of this is American Made, and I know we've at the boat show starting to add the American flag to the boats and the displays, and just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on how that's been portrayed and how being American Made has benefited Galati, and how a lot of the customers see American made products.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that we're proud of. And as we look at it, it's not only American made, but even Wisconsin companies. And you see that with the Mercury relationship that we have, and, some of the other businesses out of Wisconsin. At one point in time, we looked at it and said, you're over half of the boat comes out of Wisconsin. If it was a gas powered boat. Between, the engines, the generator, the fiberglass, the parts, the pieces, we deal with those vendors that are Wisconsin companies. And, it really comes down to Casey. I mean, he was a American, made businessman, and we try to buy as much American made as we possibly can. And I think it's reflecting with the customers. I think you're seeing more and more customers that want to buy American made. And, Mark, I don't know if you have anything else you want to throw in on that, but I mean, we're excited to tout that we're American made.
Yeah, no, I think we're very proud of that, and I think it resonates with what Casey's looking at and the vendors we deal with, and I think also being American made. I mean, what do we rest our we talked about our timeless design, we talked about our performance, but it really is service. And I'm saying service from our dealers and service from us. And, and I think we've got, our customers know our service guys by name, and it's personal. And, hey, I really appreciate my wife gave them a laundry list and we fixed all that stuff for her also. And, it's like I said before, it sounds corny, but it really feels like it's a family atmosphere when we're not selling, 10,000 boats a year. So it's about, taking care of the customer after we sell them a quality boat. And it feels good to be American made in today's world. So.
Exactly. It's a proud stamp to say American made.
Yeah.
What was the slogan you guys have? It's not to build a great number of boats, but to build a number of great boats. I think I saw that up in your factory there.
We don't want to build the greatest number of yachts, just a number of great yachts.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially in the time that we're going through right now, I think there's so much pride for our country. So it's such a selling point to say American made. And on that topic, fast forward, we were talking 1904, 1950s, and here we are in 2020, and we're dealing with a national pandemic. And with the company's largest cruisers yachts, can you explain what your process was in keeping your employees safe during this time and what you did to maintain manufacturing?
And I think, if you back up a little bit, Joseph was saying, we our biggest asset is our employees. I mean, we have third generation builders. And when you talk about, Joseph, the pride they have, I mean, if we give a tour, Danny, I think to a customer, we got like a 99% close rate. And I've had so many customers come back and say, you can't tell people they got to have that pride. They'll stop everything. And the customers will come back and say, boy, these people just care. And that makes me feel good about, the effort they're putting into it. And so I think we took it very seriously when you talked about, we kept monitoring as things were going, and it wasn't up into this part of the country. But once it started coming this way, and our employees were, concerned as everybody was with all the news and everything else, we probably shut down before we had to shut down. And that was, to really, understand our safety protocols when it came to, COVID-19 and what we're going to do in this environment to keep our employees safe. And, there was a mandatory in the state, but we could have stayed up under essential businesses if we wanted to. But we really want to spend some time to really understand how do we protect our employees, and they deserve that. I've been around these people for 30 some years, so we took it very seriously. And so, we shut down and we spent that time truly understanding, what was happening with the virus, and really, benchmarking ourselves with some of our major vendors, from Mercury, what kind of things are they doing, the NMMA, the Wisconsin Manufacturers Association. We interfaced directly with the CDC as we talked about coming back in the Department of Health. And, our idea was to not just come back with the minimal safeguards to make sure the employees were safe. So when we did decide to come back, which I think we've been up and running now for, probably 3.5, 4 weeks, we've been up and running because we've had some customer sold boats. And, we're taking temperatures before the employees come in. We highly encourage them to stay home if they're not feeling good. We ask them questions about how their family's health is. We have mandatory that you have to wear masks in the facilities. We're rotating our break so people continue social distancing, even in the boat. When you're Joseph, you can appreciate this. If you're laminated, you can be on the front of it, and someone can be on the back of it, kind of rolling. And when you're in a boat, you can be in the front part and the back. So we're doing everything to do the social distancing. We have 4 employees that full time clean. All our employees have disinfectants and everything else to wipe down their own tools, shared tools. And, I think we stopped punching in so people won't have to congregate, went to a trust factor that they didn't have to go through the clock. So, I think, even to the point that we have some employees that maybe have health issues, are older or had some health issues in the past, we're not forcing them to come in if they have medical issues that make them to be some concerned with this. So, I think that's, gone a long way right now to, assure them that we're just doing what's mandatory, but we're doing everything possible to make sure that they're safe, and we're open to their ideas. And I think, the workforce right now, we do have people home taking care of their kids, which is great. People that are, have some ailments that don't want to come back. But from that, I think we probably have a 99, after that, probably a 99% return rate, which says a lot for the pride of they want to get back and build boats type of deal. So it's definitely a different world today.
It truly is. And, I think the underlying theme of this episode has been company culture. And that's what makes Cruisers Yachts so unique. And the fact that you put your employees first throughout this situation and you're doing all the research and work you can to keep them safe says so much. So that brings me into my next question. If you could look into the future and you could see, what are the predictions and changes that you see happening to the marine industry from this?
Maybe Danny, I go high level, and then you kind of hit some of the stuff you and I've been talking about. But I think on a high level, I think you see this virus is that what as people go forward. I mean, in the social distancing and so forth. I mean, boating is a great platform for that to happen. And as you go forward, I don't see people reaching out to resorts or going to big social events or baseball games opening up and all this stuff. So I do see when people look at that and say they still need to enjoy their life and they get out and do something that's adventurous and be with their family and maybe isolated friends that come with them that they can still slowly get back to that. So it's not what you want to see with all the events that travel and everything else may be prepared for a while, but I think it's an opening that once again boating offers a lifestyle that is enjoyable and under this pandemic, I think it still gives you some of that isolation without feeling that you're giving up something. I mean, so on the high level, that's what we'll see. But Danny's got a lot of good ideas what may happen with the industry on a forward basis.
Yeah, I mean, if you sit back and look at it, whether it changes the NFL or Major League Baseball or just how people go about and how safe they feel in crowds and things like that. So it may affect some of the attendance at boat shows, and we have to look at with the dealer is more rendezvous. I mean, Galati does a great job with all your rendezvous. There might have to be more singular events at the dealerships to try and limit the amount of crowds, but still get in front of the customers and new customers and our existing customers, and keep them in the family. But I think it's going to lend itself to more events at the dealership than you're going to see boat shows and things like that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've seen sales kind of go up because people are wanting that secondary place to social distance, that secondary haven to feel safe and comfortable with their loved ones. So that's a really good thing for our industry because I see that trend continuing with all the changes that are going to happen in the world. I had the chance to sit down with Mark Pedersen at the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show last year in honor of our 50th anniversary.
Mark Pedersen, I'm the President of Cruisers Yachts, and I've been with Cruisers Yachts for 33 years. When I was talking to Joe Galati, he had a quote from his father, which was, take care of the customer, and the customer will take care of you. Mike Sr., he's got to be pretty proud of what his family's done to turn his vision into this successful reality. Here's a guy that had a vision, a belief, strength to take the risk, for this business opportunity for his family. 50 years as, I would say as industry leaders. Full service marinas that take care of the customer, facilities and staff that are second to none. I think the new generation is a necessity, and to include them in the business and have them give direction is a key, to the next 30 years that we'll have together. I say with a lot of heartfelt appreciation, congratulations from everybody at Cruisers Yachts on 50 years of success. We're proud of the Galati and Cruiser Yachts 38-year relationship. From everybody at Cruisers, thank you to Galati's for that partnership.
We have many cruiser models in stock on our dock. So Joseph, would you mind taking us through where they're at and what's available?
Yeah, so we got plenty of inventory available for you guys to come see. We have a 2019 42 Cantius at our St. Pete store, along with a 2020 46 Cantius, a 54 Cantius, and a 60 Cantius as well. We also have another 46 Cantius up in Destin, so we got 2 of those in stock. We got plenty, pretty much one of every model. We have a 338 that's up in Destin as well. We got one here in Tampa and another one over in Texas. So 3 of those for you guys to see. So pretty much one of everything. So come on down to either Galati location. We can help you out.
Yes, and if you'd like to learn more about any of these models, you can contact us by visiting the link below. Our cruiser specialists go through countless hours of new product training, visiting the factory, working with our brand to ensure that we are the most knowledgeable out there. So please click the link and you can talk to a cruiser specialist. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us today. And all of our viewers who tuned in for our kickoff show, we are so happy to have you guys.
Well, thank you very much. And congratulations on your 50th anniversary. And, we're from everybody at Cruisers. We're proud to, have this partnership for that many years. And we look forward to the next, 37 years with you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Everyone listening, we go live on the last Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern. Our next show will be June 24th, a live update on the docks of our Costa Rica location. We'll talk all things fishing and an inside look at the biggest fishing destination in the world. Once again, I'm your host, Maria Galati Hill, and thank you for joining us on board with Team Galati.